We will call to order. Meeting of the Plan Commission of Village of North Hudson, Wednesday, June 21st, 2017. We'll start with the roll call.
Bachman.
Here.
Howard.
Here.
Miser.
Here.
Mitchell.
Here.
Schneider. Here. Wecken. Here. And White. Here.
We're all here. Wonderful. Item 3, approval of the minutes of our meeting of May 3rd.
Move to approve the minutes.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Before I ask for corrections or anything, I just want to state, these are a lot of minutes.
There's a lot of
And just to let you all know that I get a chance to review them before they get, published, and I found 0 corrections, so wonderful job. Very, very nice. So, does anyone have any corrections? Anything you want to change? All in favor of approval of the minutes as printed, signify by saying aye. Aye. That is approved. Item 4, the Artisan North subdivision, the final plat. And tonight we'll have discussion and possible recommendation to the village board. So, last month, we had the preliminary plat review, and it went to the village board, and they approved it. That's why it's here. And so, we're gonna talk about the final plat now, and Kevin from Cedar Corp put together just a few comments. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and just say what you're...
Sounds good. All right, so yeah, the surveyor submitted the final plat. And I just had 5 different items that I noted, and I believe everybody's got a copy of the memorandum that I put together. But I'll just go down through the list here. Basically, the first one is they're looking for a waiver and placement of the irons, and that's only the interior ones. That's basically the ones that are gonna be right along the roadway. And the reasoning is just because of the construction. If we were to place those right now, more than likely those would get disturbed. So they are asking for a waiver, which we definitely concur with. There's just a signature that we would need from the village president for that, and that would be submitted along with the final plat to the DOA for review. They would just need to have that in hand, so. Number 2 is basically on the third page, there would be a village treasurer certificate, a signature block that would, they would have to sign off just to make sure that there's no outstanding taxes or assessments or any of those items. Number 3 is in regards to the stormwater management facilities that are adjacent to some of these lots. We just ask that they have a note that's provided on there that the lowest building openings would have to be 2 feet above. And then where the facilities are per se, there's 2 of them. One that's gonna be on lot number 5 and the other one on lot number 3, just so they provide a high water elevation mark.
So that's what you meant by both facilities?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. So just a high water elevation mark, that's 100-year, just so that's provided on there for information. So when they do set the, the building grades, that they have something to work off of. Number 4 is just the approvable building envelope. By the time you take the, the setbacks off, the drainage easements, utility easements, how much area you have left over to actually put the building. And that would be shown on the plat also. Similar to what was provided with Ridge's subdivision when that went through. And then number 5 is just basically defining what would be allowable in the conservancy easement. I think there was a lot of concerns about that from the residents at our public hearing. And just to define what is actually allowable in those areas and excluded, you can see what's been provided for a note for that area. So other than that, that's the only comments that we would have. Go, sure.
So, from the plans that you saw there is no adjustment or no modifications in any of the plots or any other of the details or grading or drainage from the prior submission?
Yep, no, did not see anything on that project.
And in your estimation, Kevin, does this meet all of the state requirements and the village requirements for a plat?
Yeah,
for CSM?
we looked at, the side yard, front yard, rear yard, minimum lot sizes, all of those things, just to ensure that it does meet the village ordinances, in which it does. Yep.
Anyone have anything else for Kevin?
Yes. Lot 4, the retaining wall that's going there, that's going right on the edge of the building envelope and the conservancy, right?
Yes.
How does, since the highest part of the wall is on the furthest east side of the,
Upward.
yeah, is that how that goes, that right on the east side of the lot line? And it just will kill right into the existing bank that's already there? So then everything to the southwest of it, towards the house and that lot, and that's where the grading goes?
Yes.
Retention basins were mentioned for lots 6, 7, and 8 on the west end. Do those need to be included in the plat? Retention basins don't?
No, just because, those are all gonna be determined once you actually get the physical
Final
building
visit.
on the
Okay.
lots. So it'd be hard to kind of dedicate where those areas are without knowing exactly what the footprint of the building's gonna be. So
Okay,
basically, it's
but-
gonna,
But you wouldn't even indicate that those are planned for those lots, or?
Yeah, lot 7, basically, our engineer computed the water that would be generated by the impervious portion of the roof that faces west. And he's recommended the size and the depth of 2 little infiltration basins that are gonna be located on both the north and southwest corners of the lot. And so that it's all planned and is cool, and we're planning on doing that on all the westerly facing lots, so we don't end up with water coming off our impervious surface and onto the property.
Thank you.
Good,
And I
good.
wrote a letter to that effect, I think, meeting before last.
If I can interrupt Mary just a second. Then will those be shown on a drawing once they're installed?
typically those are like in construction plans per se, not necessarily on the final plat. Or it,
It will be on the landscape plans that we generate in our landscaper, and I can certainly supply the village with copies of those landscape plans for your files if that would help.
Well, you know, it's a good neighbor thing. I know you were talking about that the last time, and I just,
yeah,
it's not required because, in effect, even with the houses on these 3 lots, theoretically, no more water is gonna be running into the adjacent lot to the west, right? Because most of that, the front yards and front part of the building,
Yeah,
the
the
front
front
yards are
yards.
going the other
towards,
way.
towards the street, yep.
Yeah. I was just curious.
I just wanted the neighbor to the west to be happy and not to be worried about it. So.
Lot 3. I don't know, guess that's it.
Anyone else? Okay.
Alright, sounds good.
Do you have anything further you'd like to add from up on the podium? I mean, any comments, any?
I really don't.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Any discussion amongst ourselves? Rob? Usually have something. Well, it's your
It's
area,
no,
you
well,
know?
and, yeah, no, and I know the, I've walked that, and I know the topography to some degree, and,
Look good?
well, I think it's, yeah, I think it'll be a nice development.
Okay.
And it's really what was set up, I mean, the temporary cul-de-sac has been there, it's just people have gotten used to it, it's been
Yeah.
there so long that the change is hard for the neighborhood, but it's,
Except for the lady who was there happy because her driveway's gonna get fixed.
yeah, yeah,
And her
right.
water won't be going in.
It's good. I mean, it's
So there's
good.
pluses and minuses. Any other comments, questions? Terry, anything?
I know.
Pretty
everything looks
straightforward, right?
good. Yeah.
Yeah? I would entertain a motion for recommendation to approve or not, whichever, whoever would like to make a motion would.
Do we need to read Kevin's comments from, or just, we don't approve on conditions, we approve?
You want to include those?
We'll include it.
Kevin, I did not actually see your comments, but are
Oh, I'm
those conditions of the approval of the final plat, is that how you'd like it to be? Yeah. So then, you don't have to actually read them all, I think you
Right.
could
Just
do
include
a motion to include the conditions from the engineer.
And we're recommending to the village board, we're not approving it, we're just
Right.
Good
Yeah.
point, yeah, just
recommending approval.
language. So if someone wants to make a motion,
So the motion would be to recommend approval of the final plat for Artisan North subdivision located on the Burnley property, with the conditions outlined by, the village engineer on June 14th, 2017.
Very good. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seems like a good project. All in favor of recommendation approval of the Artisan North subdivision with the 5 recommendations of Cedar Corp? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? That passes. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. We'll do our best to make it a great addition to the village.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The only other agenda item is comprehensive plan updates, discussion, possible recommendations. When Melissa first asked me about it, I didn't have anything, but we had to put it on the agenda so we could talk about it. Let's see, we do have the letter from Cedar Corp in our package. It's at the end of
Yeah,
this
the
stuff.
April 4th letter.
From April 4th. And we have Patrick's cost estimate. And then I think we also heard last month that we really don't have a budget for it. So we were just kicking around some ideas if there was anything we could do in the near future. Does anyone have any ideas on what we could do on updating the comprehensive plan? We could get it into the budget process for next year. Does anyone have anything else?
I think if we don't have the money,
Yeah, there's no sense doing
there's
anything
no
else.
sense in
Exactly.
doing it.
Right.
And even allocating money in next year's budget, I don't,
You can try.
you can,
We used to have a
I
budget
suppose
on
you
this
can try,
commission.
but,
Well, it was supposed to be updated every 10 years.
so
right?
I have a
I
comment.
mean, that's
Yes.
part of the question, I think.
My comment would be that, and I think I made this last time, and as municipalities meet that, or approach that, or get past that 10-year date without having done anything, some municipalities will actually hire a firm like Cedar or West Central Planning, whatever their name is, over out of Eau Claire, who's done a lot of these. But municipalities which have experienced very little change, very little growth, and see very little change likely in the next 10 years, have very little to do often. And sometimes what I've seen them do is just assign planning commission members a chapter or one of the elements of the plan commission, have that person go over it, look for mistakes, look for things that logically you might want to change, and then come back at a meeting when everybody's ready and just talk about if there are any changes you want to make. And you can do that with no budget, basically, other than just having a few planning commission meetings. And if something major needs to be changed, well, then you probably need some dollars from the board.
And I think I suggested a similar vein last time. If you have a favorite chapter, take a look at it and see if you want to, I just use that as an example.
Volunteers are always great.
We're all here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else on the,
I have one question about it. 'cause
Yes.
this thing on my book says 2006 to 26. Why do we have to do it? in
it's a
10 years?
20-year plan, we're supposed to look at it after 10.
The statute that puts this in place says you're supposed to update it into every 10 years.
Oh,
So, and again, if there really are no updates, you at least have to just look at it and make that determination that, okay, well, we've got nothing to do.
Yeah.
Or let's fix some typos or whatever.
Yeah.
well, how much does it cost, you know, for any fixing typos and doing that kind of thing? Doesn't the updated plan then need to be sent to the state Department of Admin?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I thought the original plan did, or someplace it needed to.
I'm not
think it's
familiar
just-
that it has to be sent to the state.
Bless the the changes. I mean,
You do have some
whatever you guys do here, then
procedures.
it goes to the board, and I think there has to be like a public hearing, right,
Yep,
at this level?
yep.
So I don't think we have to file it with the state or anything. And if you do find typos, I mean, that's something I could
Yeah.
just do too. Without a budget.
Is it something we want to put on our website? Once it's updated?
who's gonna read?
Many municipalities
But
have
what,
done
on the
that.
comprehensive plan?
Yeah,
That's a lot to put on.
It's already in electronic format.
I think did you send me in 2 or 3? It's split up because it's so big. Yeah. So I put it on in sections.
How many people would go and read this on the website?
We do get
Looking for something to do, I wouldn't be reading it.
I can tell you who looks at it. Developers look at it.
Yeah.
Attorneys who want to sue you look at it. Things like that.
we have gotten requests like twice since I've been here.
Yeah.
From like banks or something that want to see like, yeah, like somebody may be coming in trying to do something. They want to see the future of like a non-conforming lot or something like that. So I mean, we have had a request here or there. Someone wanting to see it.
I know that there's a link to the municipal code book right there on the website. And I've used that more than once, especially if I want to print something out. It's so much easier than taking your book and, or carrying it to a meeting.
And that's easier to link to the code book as a
Yeah,
whole. It's
yeah.
a whole different company that kind of versus the comprehensive plan, so.
Okay. Any other comments?
Is there a requirement on, once it's updated, how many copies you have to print?
I don't think so.
Think so.
No. I guess I'd have to look at that, but that doesn't ring any bells.
Just trying to figure out the cheapest way to do this.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think, like I said, if
I'm sorry, the most cost-effective way to do
Yes.
this.
if you guys just do it yourselves, it'll be almost free. There may be
Just cost
a
of paper
few
Printing.
costs, minor.
per time,
Yep.
Just print the pages you change and have inserts or something like
yeah.
that. Tape them in or something. How many copies actually exist, hard copy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
the
also
ones
have
that-
one.
I mean, like, there's
Village
8 or
board.
9, 10. and the
No, I
boards
found
of
some downstairs, but I think it's because it was the first one, so maybe like 20, I would say altogether.
20 copies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's even a requirement to print a paper copy ever, because you might have just gone with electronic right from the get-go if you'd wanted to, I think.
Right. Or make more sense.
Of course, that was, 10 years ago. It was a much more paper world even,
Oh, yeah.
even then than it
Yeah,
is
even
now.
then, yeah.
We give one to each planning commission member, but no one else gets a copy other than we have it in our office.
I
Okay.
guess we could look at chapters and,
Let's do
I
that.
mean,
I've already gone through most of the chapters.
some of the population and census type data is about all that's,
Yeah,
the
but
biggest
that's
change.
public information
That is
too,
public
so it's
information.
easy enough to
Yeah,
get the future projections
yeah.
from the state even, so.
Anything else? Gene? I'm ready for adjournment.
This is your cue, that's your cue.
Oh, is there any new business? Excuse me. It was not
That's your
here.
cue.
Anything else? I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned at 7:21.